Hey YouTube. After a long hiatus, I have decided to start making videos again. So if you are new to the channel, my name is Mark. I'm a registered nurse as well as a fitness buff. I'm not in the fitness industry. I don't get paid by anybody to do this stuff. So until I start getting paid, I'm not part of the fitness industry. I just like working out. For those of you that are subscribed, I'm gonna start making videos again because it's been 3 years and I'm back. So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about kind of a twofold topic. One is testosterone and blood thinners, and the other one is anabolics and blood thinners, because in the past I have made some videos and I've gotten some questions about it, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of information on the web about it. So let's go with scenario one, which is testosterone from a pharmacy that you know that's regulated, that's government produced, and blood thinners. And the scenario two will be from a street pharmacist that maybe isn't so government regulated. Before I start, I'm not a physician. I am not a pharmacist. As previously stated, I'm a registered nurse who just likes to work out and knows a couple things about topics. The bright side about my job is I have access to pharmacists, internists, internal medicine specialists, nephrologists at work, and I just ask them questions all the time. Now, this is not medical advice. My advice to you before we start is always ask your doctor, right? Is there going to be an interaction with this and this? Is it okay for me to take my Plavix and this testosterone cypionate that I got from the pharmacy, right? Always ask your doctor. Why? Because I don't know what other drugs you're on. This is more for educational purposes. Do your research, do your diligence. But let's delve into this. So let's say we go to pharmacy A and we are prescribed testosterone cypionate from this pharmacy. We know that what we're getting is testosterone cypionate. Awesome. For those of you that don't know, there's different esters of testosterone. There's like propionate, cypionate, N-enthate, decanoate, and what this means is this is the amount of testosterone attached to the ester of that testosterone, and that just kind of more has to do with the frequency that you have to inject. But if you're here, you probably already know all this stuff, so I'll kind of, if you want, I can make a video of that later. There's also probably about 1 million videos of that on YouTube. So you go to pharmacy A, and you get testosterone cypionate that is built in a pharmacy that's government regulated, and you know 100% of what you're getting is test sep. Cool. You're taking that, you're on TRT or HRT, you're in North America. We're going to use this as a scenario. And then your doctor puts you on Plavix, which is a new generation blood thinner. And you're scared, is that Plavix going to interact with my testosterone? Awesome question. I have gotten that in the past from people. Look at it this way. Our bodies create testosterone naturally. Shocking news, I know, revolutionary. Everybody subscribe to this guy. But you're naturally producing testosterone every single day, but in small spurts, right? The average guy, I think it's 7 milligrams a day in just like little bursts. If you're taking testosterone exogenously, like a needle, all right, you're getting a large dose at the same time. And maybe that's kind of where the concern is coming from. It's like, well, you know, my testosterone is going to go to a super physiological level and then kind of taper down. Is that a problem? So I had a chat with a pharmacist about this, and basically the conclusion that I got from that conversation was, if you are taking from a government regulated lab, testosterone cypionate, and a blood thinner that's been prescribed by your doctor or your endocrinologist, I encourage anybody who's on HRT or TRT to find an endocrinologist, just because this is their bread and butter, this is their jam, this is what they do. Your average GP doesn't follow this as much, and I'll actually be making a video about that soon on GPs and why they don't know a lot about anabolics. It's not their fault, is the Coles notes of that. So if you are on government regulated testosterone cypionate and getting a dose of Plavix, warfarin, ASA, whatever it is that the doctors put you on, odds are there's going to be no drug-drug interactions with that, right? Because all you're doing is injecting testosterone every 2 days with prop, or every week with cypionate or N-enthate. Man, I haven't done this in a while. I suck at these videos. And there's probably going to be no drug-drug interactions, right? I mean, your body produces testosterone anyways. Again, check with your doctor, make sure, but the vast majority of blood thinners are going to be fine with TRT and HRT, right? Because all you're doing is replacing what your body can't do. Or you're, running a cycle and it's from you somehow can afford government regulated produced testosterone. God, that'd be expensive. So conclusion of that is, odds are you're probably okay. Ask your doctor anyways, but TRT, HRT from a pharmacy that's government regulated, probably going to be just fine, right? I wouldn't worry too much. Your doctor wouldn't be prescribing you Plavix, ticagrelor, all these drugs if it would interact with, right? Also, when your doctor's prescribing you drugs, let's say you're on 5 different drugs, they are always thinking about those drug-drug interactions before they prescribe something to you. And then when they add a new drug, they're thinking about that. I promise, they are. It's what they do. Let's talk about scenario 2, which is underground pharmacy, street pharmacist, not so government regulated. Just for my own liability, I don't endorse, condone, or suggest that you take anabolic steroids at any point, but hey, you know what? I also work in front lines in an emerge, and I recognize that harm reduction is the best thing here, right? I've been on the front lines of the opioid crisis here in British Columbia now for years, and you know, if I turn around to you and I say, hey, don't do heroin, and you use heroin, you're not going to listen to me, right? So if I turn around to you and I say, hey, don't do anabolics, screw this guy, right? I'm not going to listen to him. So let's talk about a little bit of harm reduction. So let's say we get our testosterone from a street pharmacist, and we're also on Plavix. A lot of us are scared to talk to our doctor about something like that. And I find that in the emerge a lot is somebody's taking anabolics and they don't disclose that to the doctor when they come in an acute crisis, whether that be abdominal pain or a headache or anything like that. And they might think that, hey, this has nothing to do with my abdo pain. Why am I needing to tell the doctor? And at the same time, it can be a little bit embarrassing to disclose, right? Like, you don't want to talk to somebody because there's a lot of stigma around anabolic use, right? There's a lot of stigma in the medical industry. There's a lot of stigma with the average person. You know, you talk to the average person like, well, what do you think about people that take steroids? And they generally have a negative opinion. So people don't want to disclose that. I am rambling. Let's get back to testosterone that you don't get from a pharmacy or a regulated pharmacy. There's 2 problems with anabolics that you get from a street pharmacist and testosterone that you get from a street pharmacist, but let's talk about it. One is that testosterone that you get from the street pharmacist, is that 100% testosterone cypionate? Are you sure? How can you be, right? And then second of all, let's talk about anabolics. Let's say you get a bottle of Dianabol from your street pharmacist, and how do you know that what you're getting is Dianabol? How do you know that the dosing is correct? How can you know that all of that is on the level? Somebody commented down below, but when you're buying Anavar, it's usually Winstrol, or Winstrol is usually Anavar because one's cheaper than the other, and you don't really know what you're getting, right? And then, I mean, if you're taking medications that are unregulated, you kind of are taking that risk, but that's why you're doing what you're doing, right? You are willing to take that risk in order to get jacked and tanned. Again, not endorsing any of this. So one is there aren't a lot of studies on blood thinners and anabolics. And the reason for that is it's a very, very small subsection of society, right? So there's not a lot of point in running a test on one of the new gens like Plavix and Dianabol or Anavar or Trenbolone or Equipoise, which is meant for horses. Why would a pharmacy do that? They don't need to. Like, that's such a small proportion of people that they need to know about drug-drug interactions. They don't care. It's not in their benefit. So there's a lot of research out there, right? Also, at the same time, how do you know what you're getting is what you're getting? How do you know that Trenbolone that you bought is actually Trenbolone? How do you know that Anavar's not Winstrol or Winstrol's not Anavar? I can't remember which one gets mixed up for the other one because it's cheaper. Comment down below and let me know because I can't remember. So there's not a lot of research, and you don't truly know what you're getting. You hope that you're getting what you're getting. You're hoping that the person on the other end of that is doing what they're doing. But I'll use an example from the opioid crisis here in British Columbia. Right now there's a lot of dirty drugs on the street, but there's been a lot of dirty drugs for a long time where people think that they're getting heroin, and in fact they're getting fentanyl. And you know, I remember one time a guy came into the emergency room and he was at a party and he did a line of what he thought was cocaine. And I remember dealing with him and gave him a bunch of Narcan. He woke up and I'm like, dude, what happened? He's like, oh man, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I did a rail of coke, and then I looked at my buddy and I was like, that's not cocaine. And then he dropped, right? Went into respiratory distress. Turns out when we did a urine blood screen on him, he had no cocaine in his system. It was just fentanyl, right? But he thought he bought cocaine. He got given fentanyl instead. Could have died. So you got to trust the person that you're getting it from, that everything's on the level. So you don't really know what you're getting. So there's not a lot of research. So to turn around and ask, can I take anabolics and blood thinners? The answer is, I don't know. I don't know if anybody can actually tell you that because there's not a lot of research. Now, there are some doctors out there that this is their job. They research drugs constantly. I look at like the Olympics and the NFL as good examples, because don't tell me those people are not on drugs. But the average doctor is not going to be able to tell you that, right? Specifically because they don't know if what you're getting is what you're getting. So let's talk about the harm reduction part of this. Me telling you all this isn't going to stop you from taking underground pharmaceuticals, right? So if you are going to, and if nothing else, talk to it about with your doctor, and you are going to get an earful about why you shouldn't be taking anabolic steroids, right? Because that's what the doctors are supposed to do, right? But the reality is that doctor lecturing you and wagging his finger isn't going to stop you from taking it. Advocate and say, hey, listen, doc, I know I shouldn't be doing this, and I know you're going to tell me to not do this, but I'm going to do it anyways, and I want to be as safe as possible. So get regular blood work, right? Get your CBC done. So like looking at your hemoglobin, looking at your red blood cell counts, looking at your hematocrit levels, get your CB7 done, look at your chemistry, make sure that none of that's out of whack. Get your liver functions done regularly. Make sure that whatever you're taking isn't destroying your liver on you. I mean, certain drugs like say, well, Anavar, right? You know is going to tax your liver because it's meant to, maybe you don't know, but you might know, is going to tax your liver because of its ability to go first pass through the liver so that it doesn't get metabolized and excreted right away. That taxes your liver. And just say to your doctor, hey, listen, I'm going to do this anyways, and I want to be safe. And if the doctor turns around and says, well, I'm not going to be your doctor and do this like TS, maybe find a new doctor who, you know, is about harm reduction. Or you might have to just go and get it done by yourself online. Here in Canada, that's near impossible. In the United States, I know it's a lot easier because you can pay for blood work. In Canada, you need a lab rec. It's a lot more difficult, but it can be done through online sources as opposed to getting your GP to write that. So the long and the short of it is, sorry guys, this was a long video. Government regulated facility and blood thinners, probably going to be okay, man. Or lady. Weird. Okay, I don't know how to address this. Moving on. I haven't done this in a while. So, government-regulated testosterone, probably going to be okay with blood thinners. Your doctors are going to be thinking about those interactions way before they prescribe these things to you. Unregulated testosterone and anabolics, there's not a lot of research data. So, we simply don't know whether or not it's safe to do with blood thinners. If you're going to do it anyways, be safe about it, guys and gals, and whoever's watching this video. Get your blood work done regularly. If something starts feeling wrong or something's not right, get it investigated. Why? Because you don't know. At the end of the day, the safest thing is not to do it. But again, we're talking harm reduction here. So be as safe as you possibly can when you're going to do stuff like this. So I hope that answers the question of why is there not a lot of data around testosterone and blood thinners. If it's government regulated, they don't care because they already know it's not going to be a problem. As for anabolics and street stuff, they don't care because it's too small of a subset of society to worry about that. And your doctor's not going to know. If you turn around and say, hey doc, I'm on taking some Dianabol along with my government regulated test, is that okay? He's going to turn around and say, I don't know, don't do that. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope this was helpful in any way, shape, or form. I am really rusty at making these videos because it's been 3 years. So, as always, guys and gals, eat like a bodybuilder and train like a powerlifter.